sometimes the universe doesn't answer your prayers immediately. Sometimes doors stay closed, opportunities seem delayed, and challenges pile up. But what if I told you that before God blesses you, He will test your faith? Yes, before your breakthrough, before your dreams manifest, as a test. And that test is not to punish you, it's to prepare you. Key point 1, faith is strengthened through trials. Faith is a curious thing. It's invisible, intangible, yet incredibly powerful. It's the silent whisper inside your soul telling you that no matter what is happening around you, everything will be okay. But here's the truth most people don't understand. Faith is not something that grows when life is easy. Faith grows when life is hard. Faith grows in the moments when your heart is heavy, when the world seems against you, when your prayers feel unanswered and your dreams are still distant. Before God blesses you, He will test your faith. And the storms you face are not just obstacles, they are the training ground for your spirit. Every trial you face, every difficulty, every moment of waiting is intentional. Nothing happens by accident. You may look at your circumstances and wonder why this is happening to you. Why doors remain closed, why people around you are moving forward while you feel stuck. But these moments are not punishments. They are divine lessons. They are the classroom where faith is taught and character is built. When life tests you, it is not to break you, it is to build you. And the most powerful faith is the kind that is tested, the kind that has been stretched, challenged, and refined. Think about a tree. A tree doesn't grow strong in calm, gentle winds. It grows strong because it faces storms, because it bends without breaking, because its roots are forced to go deeper to hold it steady. Your faith is no different. Every challenge you face, every obstacle that seems insurmountable is forcing your roots, your trust in. Patience, your endurance to go deeper than ever before. The longer the test, the deeper the roots, the stronger the tree. The stronger your faith, the more unshakable it becomes. And the deeper your roots, the higher your branches will stretch when the blessing finally comes. It's natural to want immediate results. We live in a world of instant gratification where patience feels foreign. But God does not bless impatience. He does not bless those who give up at the first sign of difficulty. True faith is proven when you continue to believe even when you don't see immediate results. It is proven when you keep trusting, keep walking, keep sowing seeds of effort and hope even when nothing seems to happen. Every day that you choose to hold on, every day you refuse to give in to despair is another brick in the foundation of your faith. And that foundation will carry the weight of the blessings to come. Many people confuse suffering with failure. They see trials as signs that they are doing something wrong or that they are unworthy of success. But this is a lie. Trials are not an indication of your lack. They are evidence that you are being prepared for something greater. When you are being tested, it is because God sees your potential, not your limits. He sees the greatness in you, the purpose you are capable of fulfilling, and He knows that the blessing you desire is worth the struggle. The test is the bridge between where you are and where you are meant to. Be it is not a detour, it is the path itself. Faith is also strengthened through perspective. When you face challenges, it's easy to focus on the negative, to fixate on what is going wrong, and to allow fear to dominate your mind. But faith calls you to look beyond what is visible. Faith calls you to trust in the unseen, to believe in the promises that have not yet manifested. Every trial is an opportunity to practice seeing the invisible, to practice walking in trust even when the path is. This is how faith grows. It grows when you say, I don't understand the why, but I trust the who. It grows when you lift your eyes above the storm and fix them on the one who holds the storm in His hands. Another way faith is strengthened is through resilience. Trials teach you how to recover, how to rise after every fall. Life will knock you down, but the measure of your faith is not whether you fall, it's whether you rise. Every time you get back up, every time you refuse to let adversity define you, your faith becomes stronger. The storms will come, but your endurance, your determination to keep moving forward will transform fear into courage, doubt into trust, and weakness into strength. Over time, the person who once trembled at challenges becomes someone who faces them with confidence, knowing that each test is temporary and that the blessing is inevitable. Faith is strengthened not just through survival, but through perseverance in the face of uncertainty. Waiting is one of the hardest parts of any test. There will be moments when you feel like you've prayed long enough, worked hard enough, and yet nothing has changed. You will wonder if God has forgotten you. This is where faith is truly forged, not in the ease of life, but in the tension between what you see and what you believe. To have faith is to hold on to hope even when the evidence seems to suggest otherwise. It is to continue moving forward with trust, knowing that timing is divine and that the blessing will arrive exactly when it is supposed to. Trials also teach you humility. When everything comes easily, it's tempting to believe that you are the source of your success. But when you face difficulties that you cannot control, you are reminded that there is a higher power guiding your path. Humility opens the heart to receive, to learn, and to grow. It allows you to recognize that the blessing is not just about what you gain, but about who you become in the process. True faith is Intertwined with humility, it is the recognition that life is not solely about your effort, but about alignment with a greater purpose. Perhaps the most important aspect of trials is that they teach gratitude. Faith grows when you learn to appreciate the journey, not just the destination. Every struggle, every challenge, every setback is a teacher. Every moment that stretches you, tests you, or makes you uncomfortable is an opportunity to develop patience, perseverance, and trust. When the blessing finally arrives, you will not only be stronger, you will be grateful in a way that only those who have endured the test can be. Gratitude amplifies the power of faith because it shifts your focus from lack to abundance, from waiting to anticipation, and from despair to hope. So if you are facing a trial today, understand this. Your faith is growing even when it feels weak. Your roots are deepening even when you feel unsteady. Every test, every delay, every hardship is a stepping stone to your blessing. Do not despise the trial. Do not resent the storm. Embrace it as the preparation it is. Walk through it with courage, with hope, with trust, knowing that the stronger your faith becomes in the fire, the greater your victory will be on the other side. Faith is not proven in comfort. It is proven in challenge. It is proven when you trust beyond what you can see, when you endure beyond what you thought possible, and when you hold on to hope even in the darkest hours. Before God blesses you, he will test your faith not to break you, not to punish you, but to prepare you. And when the test is over, when the storm has passed, and when the blessing arrives, you will see clearly that every trial was worth it. Every struggle was a building block. Every moment of doubt was a step toward unshakable faith. Your faith today is the foundation for your miracles tomorrow. Hold on to it, nurture it, strengthen it, and trust the process. Your breakthrough is coming and it will be magnificent. Key point 2, obedience in the waiting builds character. Obedience in the waiting is one of the most overlooked aspects of faith. Most people pray for blessings, for breakthroughs, for opportunities, and yet when the timing does not match their expectations, frustration sets in. We want results immediately, we want signs instantly, and we want the world to move according to our schedule. But life does not operate on impatience. True obedience is not about waiting passively. It's about actively choosing to trust and act rightly, even when you cannot see the outcome. It is about honoring God's timing, following his principles, and maintaining integrity even when no one is watching. The waiting period is not empty, it is formative. It is during this waiting that your character is built, your faith is solidified, and your readiness for the blessings is revealed. Many people fail the test of obedience in the waiting because they focus only on the end result. They focus on the blessing, on the outcome, and on the reward instead of focusing on the process. But God is concerned not only with giving you blessings, but with who you become in the process. The waiting is where patience is cultivated, where humility is instilled, where discipline is developed. Every day that you choose to remain faithful, every choice you make to do the right thing when it is inconvenient, every act of integrity when shortcuts could have been taken is adding layers of strength to your character. These layers are invisible, but they are essential because the person who receives the blessing unprepared will not be able to handle it. Obedience in the waiting is what prepares you for greatness. Waiting tests your consistency. Consistency is one of the greatest indicators of readiness. It is easy to be devoted when life is smooth, when blessings are visible, when recognition is immediate. True devotion, true faithfulness is proven when you continue to act rightly, to honor your principles, and to live with purpose even when the world is silent, even when doors are closed, even when no one seems to notice. Every time you make the conscious choice to remain consistent, to keep showing up, and to continue investing in your growth and in the lives of others, you are building a character that is worthy of blessings. Inconsistency breeds disappointment. Consistency cultivates trust, both in yourself and in the process that God has laid before you. Obedience in the waiting also teaches the power of delayed gratification. One of the hardest lessons in life is learning that what comes quickly often disappears quickly, and what is delayed when earned through patience and perseverance lasts. There is a reason God does not give certain blessings immediately. There's a reason some opportunities are postponed. The waiting period is designed to develop wisdom, to teach discernment, and to instill discipline. When you learn to obey in the waiting, you learn to make decisions that are aligned with long-term success rather than short-term pleasure. You learn to value preparation over instant results, and this wisdom becomes a protective shield for the blessings to come. Another aspect of obedience in the waiting is the refinement of your heart. Waiting forces you to confront your desires, your motives, and your priorities. When life does not move according to your plans, you are challenged to examine your intentions. Are you seeking blessings for personal gain, for recognition, or for comfort? Or are you seeking alignment with a greater purpose? The waiting period is a mirror that reveals the true state of your heart. It is an opportunity to surrender self-centeredness, to develop gratitude, and to cultivate a mindset that is ready to serve, to give, and to lead. Obedience in this stage is less about what you are doing outwardly and more about what you are becoming inwardly. Faith without action is incomplete. Obedience is not passive. It requires intentionality, courage, and persistence. You cannot simply wait and hope. You must continue to do what is right, to prepare, to refine your skills, to strengthen your character, and to cultivate a life that is worthy of the blessing that is coming. Obedience in the waiting is about alignment. It is about being in sync with God's timing, with his principles, and with the purpose he has designed. For you, the blessing will only land when the vessel is ready to receive it, and that vessel is shaped in the waiting through faithful obedience. The waiting period also teaches resilience in the face of uncertainty. There will be times when the delay feels unbearable, when hope seems distant, and when you are tempted to give up. The temptation to rebel, to take matters into your own hands, or to compromise your values will be strong. But obedience in the waiting is proven when you resist these temptations. It is proven when you continue to trust despite doubt, when you continue to do the right thing despite discomfort, and when you maintain your integrity despite pressure. Each act of obedience strengthens your resilience, fortifies your spirit, and builds a foundation that can sustain the weight of the blessing to come. Obedience in the waiting also cultivates trust. Trust in God, trust in the process, and trust in your own preparation. When you see life's delays not as obstacles, but as steps in a larger plan, trust is strengthened. Every time you choose faith over frustration, patience over panic, and integrity over expediency, you reinforce your ability to trust deeply. This trust is essential because the greater the blessing, the greater the responsibility, and the greater the challenge. Trust ensures that when the blessing arrives, you can manage it with wisdom, humility, and strength. Without trust, even the greatest blessing can become a burden. Moreover, obedience, the waiting teaches perseverance. Perseverance is the act of continuing faithfully in spite of difficulty or delay. It is different from mere endurance. It is not just about surviving the storm, but about actively pursuing purpose while the storm rages. Each day you persevere, each step you take in obedience, each small act of faithfulness adds up. Over time, these small acts compound into a level of strength and character that cannot be shaken. Your perseverance in the waiting is the training ground that equips you for leadership, for influence, and for the impact you are destined to make. Obedience in the waiting also produces perspective. It allows you to see life differently, to value the process over the immediate outcome, and to appreciate the preparation behind every blessing. When the blessing finally arrives, you will look back on the waiting and understand that it was not wasted time. You will realize that each moment of restraint, each act of integrity, and each patient step forward was an essential part of your journey. This perspective prevents you from taking blessings for granted, teaches humility, and cultivates gratitude, all of which are essential to sustaining long-term success and fulfillment. Finally, obedience in the waiting molds your character in a way that immediate gratification never could. True character is not revealed in moments of ease. It is revealed in moments of tension, testing, and uncertainty. It is revealed when you choose to honor principles over convenience, to remain faithful when nothing seems to happen, and to trust the unseen. This character becomes the very vehicle that carries the blessing. Without it, the blessing may arrive, but you will not be ready to receive it fully, and its impact may be diminished. Obedience ensures that when the blessing comes, you are not only ready to receive it, but ready to steward it wisely, use it responsibly, and maximize its potential. So if you are in a season of waiting, do not despair. Do not grow impatient or frustrated. The waiting is not empty, it is formative. Obedience during this time is not passive, it is powerful. It is shaping your character, strengthening your faith, cultivating your resilience, and preparing you for the magnitude of what is coming. Every act of faithfulness, every choice to do right when it is hard, every moment you continue to trust despite uncertainty is a building block in the structure of your future. Obedience in the waiting may not be easy, but it is essential. It is the bridge between prayer and manifestation, between desire and fulfillment, and between potential and purpose. When you choose obedience, you choose to grow beyond your present limitations. You choose to align yourself with the timing and wisdom of a higher power. You choose to become the person capable of receiving, handling, and multiplying the blessings that are on the way. Remember, the waiting is not wasted. The period of obedience is the preparation. Ground where your character is refined, your faith is tested, and your heart is molded into the vessel that can contain the abundance, purpose, and greatness that awaits you. Stay faithful, stay obedient, keep trusting, keep moving forward, and keep honoring the process. The blessing is coming, but it will arrive at the perfect time to the person who has proven ready through obedience in the waiting. Key point 3, the test reveals your readiness for greatness. Not everyone is ready for the blessings they desire. In fact, many people pray for miracles, dream of success, and long for breakthroughs, yet the reason they have not yet received them is simple. They are not yet prepared. Life, God, or the universe, whatever you choose to call it, does not hand out greatness to those who are unprepared. The test is not punishment, it is preparation. Every challenge, every delay, every moment of struggle is designed to determine whether you are truly ready to carry the responsibility, the vision, and the influence that come with the blessing. The greater the blessing, the more rigorous the tests. The higher the calling, the steeper the preparation. Before greatness can manifest, your character, your faith, and your resilience must all be sharpened. These tests are revealing. They expose the strength of your convictions, the depth of your patience, and the firmness of your commitment. When life tests you, it uncovers the hidden places within you, the areas of doubt, fear, or weakness that must be addressed before you can step into your full potential. It is one thing to desire greatness, it is another to endure the fire that prepares you for it. The fire is uncomfortable. It is demanding. It forces you to confront your limitations and to stretch beyond them. It forces you to wrestle with yourself, to face your insecurities, and to confront the habits, patterns, and beliefs that hold you back. This is not easy, but it is necessary. The test is a mirror that shows whether you are ready to handle not only the blessing itself, but also the responsibilities, pressures, and expectations that come with it. Greatness demands more than talent. It demands more than desire. It demands preparation, discipline, and the refinement of character. Many people are gifted, yet they fail because they are unprepared. God does not want to give you a gift that you cannot handle. A leader who is untested cannot lead effectively. A dreamer who is unprepared cannot sustain the dream. A blessing given to an unready heart can be squandered, wasted, or misused. That is why the test is necessary. It ensures that the vessel is strong enough, the mind is disciplined enough, and the spirit is mature enough to carry the weight of what is to come. The test also clarifies your purpose. Often people pursue blessings without understanding why they desire them. They chase wealth, recognition, or comfort without realizing that the blessing itself is not the ultimate goal it is. A platform for impact. The test helps you identify your why. It separates those who want a blessing for selfish gain from those who are ready to receive it for a higher purpose. Those who endure the test, who persevere through the trials, and who remain faithful despite the delays are the ones who are ready to use their blessings to serve, to lead, and to inspire. Readiness is about more than ability, it is about alignment with purpose. The test ensures that your blessings are not just received, but multiplied and applied in ways that create lasting impact. Tests reveal your resilience. Life will test you in ways you cannot predict. Doors may close unexpectedly, relationships may fail, health challenges may arise, and circumstances may shift without warning. These tests are not designed to crush you, they are designed to strengthen you. Resilience is built not in times of comfort, but in moments of pressure. Every time you confront adversity and refuse to give in, every time you maintain faith when circumstances seem bleak, and every time you choose courage over fear, you are proving that you are ready. Resilience is the measure of your readiness for greatness, because greatness will always come with challenges, responsibilities, and scrutiny. Without resilience, even the most significant blessings can overwhelm you. The test also separates the impatient from the prepared. Many people give up because the blessing does not come quickly enough. They abandon their dreams, their faith, or their integrity, thinking that the delay is a sign of denial or failure. But the delay is part of the preparation. It is in the waiting, in the struggle, and in the tension between desire and fulfillment that greatness is forged. Those who persevere through the delay, who continue to act faithfully despite uncertainty, and who maintain their integrity under pressure are the ones who emerge ready to receive the blessing with wisdom, humility, and strength. The test is not an obstacle, it is the gateway. Only those who endure it are ready to pass through. Tests reveal your mindset. Greatness requires a specific kind of mindset, one that is adaptable, disciplined, patient, and unwavering. When challenges come, they reveal whether your mindset is fixed or flexible, whether you are reactive or proactive, and whether you are focused on short-term comfort or long-term vision. The way you respond under pressure, the way you think in moments of difficulty, and choices you make when no one is watching all reveal the readiness of your mind. A prepared mind sees opportunity and challenge, learns lessons from adversity, and remains committed to the path even when the outcome is unclear. The test hones your mind to think strategically, act decisively, and persevere relentlessly, all essential traits for those destined for greatness. The test reveals your emotional strength. Life is unpredictable, and greatness often comes with criticism, opposition, and scrutiny. How you handle these emotional challenges determines whether you can sustain your success. The trials you face today are not random. They are shaping your emotional resilience, teaching you to manage stress, disappointment, and fear without losing your focus or sense of purpose. Emotional strength ensures that when blessings come, you do not crumble under pressure, become discouraged by challenges, or lose your way in the face of obstacles. The test conditions your heart to remain steady, composed, and confident regardless of the external circumstances. The test also reveals your capacity for gratitude. Greatness without gratitude is hollow. The trials you face help you appreciate the blessing when it arrives. They teach you patience, humility, and a deeper understanding of what it truly means to receive. When the blessing finally manifests, you do not take it for granted. You do not squander it. Instead, you recognize its value, honor its source, and use it wisely. The test ensures that your readiness for greatness includes a heart capable of gratitude, stewardship, and impact. Ultimately, the test is a preparation for responsibility. Every blessing comes with responsibility, whether it is leadership, influence, wealth, or opportunity. The test ensures that you are prepared to manage, protect, and multiply what you receive. Greatness is not just about arrival, it is about sustainability and impact. The test prepares you to lead with wisdom, make decisions with integrity, and navigate challenges with clarity. It equips you to carry the weight of your calling without being overwhelmed and to maximize the potential of the blessings that are coming. So if you are in the middle of a test, do not despair. Do not resent the struggle or the delay. Understand that the test is not a punishment, but a preparation. It is revealing your strengths, exposing your weaknesses, and shaping you into the person capable of greatness. It is teaching resilience, patience, emotional strength, gratitude, and purpose. It is ensuring that when the blessing comes, you are not only ready to receive it, but ready to honor it, steward it, and multiply it. Remember this, the test does not define you, but it refines you. Every challenge, every obstacle, every moment of uncertainty is a step toward readiness. Every trial is an opportunity to grow, to mature, and to prove that you are capable of handling greatness. Your breakthrough, your blessing, and your moment of victory will arrive, but only after the test has confirmed that you are prepared. The test is not the end, it is the bridge between desire and destiny. When you embrace the test, endure it faithfully, and allow it to shape your character, you become unstoppable. You become someone who can handle influence without arrogance, success without complacency, and blessings without waste. You become someone prepared for greatness, someone equipped to impact the world, someone ready to walk into the fullness of their purpose. The test reveals readiness, and readiness ensures that the greatness that follows is sustainable, meaningful, and transformative. So do not fear the test. Do not avoid the struggle. Step into it fully with courage, with faith, and with the determination to grow. Know that each trial, each delay, each challenge is preparing you for a level of greatness that you cannot yet imagine. And when you finally emerge on the other side, you will see that every moment of testing was necessary, every struggle was intentional, and every trial was a stepping stone to the extraordinary life that awaits you. The test reveals your readiness, and readiness ushers in greatness. Stay faithful, stay strong, and embrace the preparation, because your moment of breakthrough is coming, and it will be magnificent.